Welcome to PLZ's Soccer on a Sunday where 4 games were taking place in the Scottish Premiership. All eyes focused early on Rugby Park, Kilmarnock against Celtic. I'll be talking about that just shortly. And then later on in the afternoon, the attention focused on not only the capital with Hearts against Dundee United, there was Motherwell against Falkirk. And at Ibrox, Daniel McLeod was there to watch Rangers against Hibernian. And yet again, another shock, Daniel.
Another shock. It's 3 games and no wins so far for Derek McInnes in competitive football, but for David Gray and Hibs, it's a massive result to kickstart their season. He's been under a wee bit of pressure after that Malasheva embarrassment at the start of the year, but for Hibs it's now 3 successive seasons they've won at Ibrox for the first time in their history. And right at the end there, when Chaiwa put one into his own net, it looked like Rangers were going to pile on the pressure and grab that winning goal, but massive shocks in football. Callum Wright on his Premiership debut manages to get that deflected effort just into the bottom corner and sending the Hibs fans home very, very happy.
And with that in mind, you've just listened to David Gray and Derek McInnes. Let's focus on the man who's delivered the victory first of all, because sometimes that gets lost in among people's headlines of crisis, whether it be Celtic or Rangers. But for Hibs, they only had 2 shots on target, but boy did they make them count.
They did make them count, and I felt that during the game Hibs were under a fair bit of control. Obviously not in terms of possession, but Josh Campbell, obviously, he made absolutely no mistake with that penalty, just blasted it home. A bit of controversy with that one, but they defended well. They're putting bodies on the line. Kanayo Megwa, Raphael Salinger in goal, Adam Mayer, they all made really big contributions, and I think when you put that level of fight in, it's always going to be difficult for the team. And fine margins in football, Peter, it's always what it comes down to. You get maybe a slightly fortunate penalty, a deflection, and you put all the effort in, sometimes results go your way.
Yeah, and a small band of Hibs supporters will be able to say, I was there at Ibrox for yet another away win there. But more importantly, for the home support, they'll be looking and thinking, okay, as you highlighted, no wins. What was Derek McInnes' assessment of that defeat?
He felt his side were unfortunate, Peter, and I think in some ways you can respect that. I think Rangers put a lot of effort into the game. They obviously controlled the ball, but they only created so many chances. It's been a problem through the season. McInnes felt that they were unfortunate not to win the game and very unfortunate to lose the game. As you may imagine, he did not share David Gray's view that it was a penalty for the foul by Dragicevic on Jason Kerr, but he's still waiting on more players to come in. He feels that it's just one that the players are going to need time to adapt. He didn't ask for time from the fans. He knows that the situation at Rangers is win now, but he also said that it's more of a legacy as well. It's 15 years and 1 title here at Ibrox. Derek McInnes doesn't feel that booze at the end of the game, that it's all reflecting on his side.
And just finally, before you go, Daniel, obviously the big worry, Rangers knocked back a huge bid for Chermiti and he comes off injured. Any update on that?
Derek McInnes said that it was an impact injury on his knee, which I think, I'm no doctor, but I think that might be slightly more reassuring rather than if he twisted it. But obviously the rumours are that it was a £22 million bid and Chermiti's been stretchered off, so it's one that we don't have a timeline on his return yet, but it's one that could cost Rangers dearly.
Week for Scottish football, big week for not only Rangers but Hibernian as well. 2 of them, we're keeping our fingers crossed, could be big performances and positive results.
Oh, well, I think they definitely both will be, and both sides definitely need it. I think Hibs are going in with a great amount of momentum. That performance against Skindia on Thursday night, it wasn't quite the electric performance Hibs fans would want, but going into the game with a win here at Ibrox, I think you would back them to maybe beat their North Macedonian opposition, but Rangers, they'll have so much pressure riding on them for that one. The 3 winless games at the start of the Derek McInnes reign, I think to drop into the conference would be a massive disappointment for a club that expects to be at the top table in the Champions League. So fingers crossed that the Scottish sides pull through, and obviously Motherwell playing against Helsinki, they seem to be the team that's actually doing our country proud at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to Daniel outside there in the sunshine at Ibrox. And it'll be sunshine in Leith right now because most of the Hibs fans will be celebrating down Leith Walk at the moment after that fantastic result. Thanks to Daniel McLeod there at Ibrox. Well, what about elsewhere in the Scottish Premiership? Let me draw your attention to the other matches. I was down there at Rugby Park for Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 5. They were in blistering form, Celtic. It was absolutely incredible. Kasper Høgh with 3 goals, a hat-trick inside 35 minutes, which was incredible to say the least. 2 headers and a lovely placed ball into the back of the net. And then Nygren capitalised on a mistake by Stryek. And the icing on the cake was really the substitute, Luke McCowan, scoring. Consolation for Kilmarnock. Well, a consolation in a game that Neil McCann tried to put a positive spin on the basis that there were some things that he liked about the way they were playing. They wanted to try and have a go at Celtic. But the negative aspect of it was he highlighted at the end of the game that quite simply when your plans are thrown out of the window after 2 minutes and then after that, Celtic gave him a real hammering. It was 5 going on 10 for me. Sean Maloney came into the press conference, talked about the manner of the victory because Celtic, at times, some of the football they played was easy on the eye and certainly positive for the Celtic fans who'd made the journey down there. So, an emphatic win for Celtic, 5-1 against Killie. Elsewhere at Tynecastle, well, the Wouter Vranken era at Tynecastle hasn't started the way most Hearts fans would have wanted. Poor results in Europe, Sturm Graz, and then hammered by Benfica, and there's still the second leg to come. But they certainly bounced back in their league match, the first one at Tynecastle, winning it by 4-0. And from the penalty spot, I can tell you Calvin Miller scored. He's played left back in this match. He's played literally every position apart from goalkeeper for Hearts since he joined them from Falkirk. Elsewhere, Braga chipped in with a goal. Renault got one as well. So 4 goals to the good. And also Josh McPake got one. He opened his account for Hearts. Motherwell against Falkirk. Motherwell still can't get one over in Falkirk. The Bairns going to Fir Park and coming away with a point. It ended 0-0. I think the highlight of that game was Saeed hitting the crossbar. Other than that, it might have been good play, but there wasn't any end product in the final third for either side. So the story of the afternoon so far is quite simply Kasper Høgh will dominate the back pages of the papers. We'll be talking about him on the football show at 4 o'clock live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Don't forget, we'll be announcing some of the people who've won some great merchandise from our Predictor, sponsored by Lucky Tiger. We will also have details of how you can win a full squad of strips from Hummel, courtesy of Hummel's sponsorship. They'll be giving that away to a boys or girls team that you might know. Why not enter that on our website? So we'll be talking not only about Celtic's 5-1 hammering of Kilmarnock, we'll be looking at Hearts bouncing back with a good home win against Dundee United. And the highlight for the Hibs fans will be discussing a 2-1 win yet again, an away win at Ibrox for David Gray's side and certainly Callum Wright. It's a day to remember for him in the Scottish Premiership, scoring the winning goal. We'll discuss Motherwell as well. And let's not forget the Saturday games. Stephen Presley's impressive Dark Blues, Dundee defeating Aberdeen and well worthy of the 3 points. And St Mirren with the man of the moment. Will he still be a St Mirren player when the transfer window closes? Killian Phillips scoring from the penalty spot. So much to look forward to. Join us if you can on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel tomorrow. Alec Ray, Alan Ruff and Tam McManus will be with me here in the studio.